Hey, welcome to Pillow Talk Mamas with Anamari and Troy. I'm Anamari.
I'm Troy.
Please like, comment, and share this video. Also, please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Each week we'll have segments called Stress of the Week, LOL of the Week, Adult Chat, and Listener Q&A. Then we'll get into our topic for the day. So let's get started. All right, our first topic is going to be motherhood at different ages and stages. Go ahead.
So, tell me about your babies and how your life is so far.
So, my babies are recently 4 and 2, and it's fun and rough, if we're being honest and transparent. I did have my babies later than you did. So I did get to increase my patience a little bit. But things like possible postpartum can get in the way.
Yeah.
And I don't really think it matters how much patience you have when it comes to that. It kind of takes over your emotions, I guess.
No, definitely. Yeah.
But I love my babies.
They're cute. They're cute kids.
Yes. Yours too.
Thank you.
Even though they're not babies.
Not at all. So I have 2 daughters who is 9 and 12. I had them much earlier. I had my oldest when I was 19 and my second and last at 21. So we kind of got it done fast and just got it out the way. So now we're living La Vida Loca.
Got a little bit more freedom.
With little preteens, essentially, just living in the house.
Yes.
It's been pretty. Can't say I remember too much about their younger stages.
Really?
Compared to like seeing your sons, I'm like, I don't remember this phase very, like the potty training stage. I don't remember that well. I know it was easy.
My family, a lot of times I'll hear them say, oh, I don't remember that, or I'm not sure. I'm like, how can you not remember that? But I'm still in the thick of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because I can't go back that far and be like, oh, this particular moment in time. I just remember like potty training was fairly easy. It was quick.
Not for me.
It was quick. Disciplinary, like they weren't hard to like manage. Not to say, your kids are hard to manage or can't manage. It's just they're a little bit more tamed. I mean, the terrible twos was something, but they grew out of that pretty fast. That one was a little tougher, and that was also the transition into preschool. Yeah. And that's when the behavior kind of changed a little bit, being around other kids. I think that's what did it for me. But like my oldest outgrew it probably by the time she was 4.5. She came into herself, and I didn't have to worry about other children's behaviors like rubbing off on her and her being a demon baby. If I'm honest. And my youngest, I didn't have that problem at all. Luckily, she was her own character when she was born, and she just stayed her way.
Yeah.
So
they both, I mean, I know them differently, obviously, than you do, but they both 100%, I feel like, have come into their own like little personalities.
Definitely.
But I can definitely see your youngest like having come into her personality earlier.
Yeah.
So,
and it's not going nowhere anytime soon.
So I have a question.
Okay.
What was it like for you? I know you don't really have anything to compare it to, having your babies early, because remember I mentioned I wanted to have mine like really early, just like a desire of mine to start my family early. That wasn't God's plan, but I want to know your experience with that being so young.
It was tough. It was tough. I was pregnant right out of high school, and it was pretty much adulthood immediately.
Right.
And then not really knowing myself as an adult, and then saying, oh, I had to take care of a human. That's interesting. But I will say I went into mommyhood fairly easy. Like the transition was easy. And I guess I was like always meant to be a mom. So doing that, it was just an easy effort. Of course, it wasn't easy by any means, but I also wasn't doing it alone. I had my husband. So
the mother instinct.
Yeah, it took over. It took over, and it was like, I know how to feed this baby. I know like this cry is different than this cry and stuff like that.
That part's crazy. Yeah. I literally, with my oldest, I believe I told you this already, but He was born early and was in the NICU for about a month. And I think my second, maybe third time, but I believe it was the second time I went down to the NICU. They have a washing station outside the doors before you go in.
Right.
I'm washing my hands and I'm like, that's my baby.
You just know.
And then I thought about it, I was like, no, like, there's no way you can know that's your baby. He's like 20 feet away in his room with the door closed.
Right.
And sure enough, as I'm walking in and signing in, I'm like, I know that's my baby. And as I get closer, the cry gets louder. I was like, I can't believe I've known you for less than 24 hours and I know you're crying.
That's actually really sweet.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
That was one of my, I don't have obviously a lot of positive memories about the NICU, but that was one like bittersweet because you don't want them to cry.
Yeah.
But knowing that you are learning your baby pretty quickly is nice.
Yeah. Hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. What was the next topic? Oh, I already did that one. So you said you didn't say your age. How old were you when you had your babies?
19 and 21.
And 21. Okay. I was 26 with my first and 28 with my second. I definitely feel like I've always worked with kids in the nursery at my church or at a museum I worked at. They had an exhibit in there that had kids. A lot of people were like, I don't want to be in there.
When you say exhibit, I think about a zoo of babies. There's a zoo of babies everywhere.
But I don't want to say it essentially was because that sounds rude. But it was like this huge long room. Like if you think about a long museum exhibit, that threw me off, sorry. You walk in, there's one or two stations. The next space over in the room, there's another station, and then another like huge school age child size blocks, like really big blocks, and then an interactive screen at the end. So on a weekday, when nannies would come in, they would be like maybe 10 kids, if that, some days. But on the weekend or days that kids were not in school, there could be easily 100 kids in there, probably.
Already too many.
Yeah.
That's
wasn't always fun, but
that's a lot.
I just always gravitated towards working with kids. So I knew that I wanted to be a mom. I knew that when I was a mom, I would be a good mom because it's just that instinct, that desire.
Yeah. I didn't really have much experience prior to me. I had like my cousin, unfortunately, had babies when she was a teen, so I got to be around her babies. Right. But other than that, I wasn't around babies. All my cousins were the same age, so there's no real diaper change or bottle feeding experience that I really had prior to having my own.
In my family, we didn't, but yeah, in my I mean, like family reunions and stuff like that, but that's every 2 years. So it was definitely like going to work and working with kids or going to the nursery in the church and things like that. If they asked me to come in extra days, I would do it. I would babysit. I would nanny. I was a teacher. Now looking back, I'm not sure if I want to go back into that world. I have my own. But I definitely, I'm grateful for having mine when I did because of developing more patience and wisdom. And I preferred little babies. Like, I'm going to feed you. I'm going to rock you to sleep. Everything's so peaceful and calm.
They're boring at that age. They're sweet and precious and they smell like angels on earth, but they are boring.
I won't throw my family member under the bus. They will know who they are. But one of my family members said that about my youngest. They were like, oh my God, he's so boring. I'm going to go play with your other kid.
Like, where do you just hold the baby? That's it. It's just a
I'm like, this
little
is your family.
potato sack baby,
Right.
you know? It's just,
But I don't
it's
know.
here.
I will say though, another friend, a mutual friend of ours actually, was telling me when I was talking to her about like different, what is the word? Struggles is not the word, but different struggles, like pros and cons of each stage. So, her advice for that was like, you got to take it with a grain of salt because every single stage has a pro and every single stage has a con. So, yeah, they can be a little like, I don't want to say boring, like, wake up, I want to see your eyes, I want to see your face, but they can't move, they can't do anything.
Yeah.
You're just taking care of all of their needs. But that was the second phase I wanted to talk about, the 6 month to 1 year ish phase, when they start rolling over and crawling and walking and getting into everything. I want to know what that was like for you, and then I'll share what that was like for me.
For that, I mean, honestly, that was probably one of the more exciting, just to see the development and growth.
We're different.
Getting them to like experience different foods and like their likes and stuff like that. To finally be able to take them to the playground, just to even look at the colors of the slide. I'm like, that was interesting, just to be able to like to see everything catching their gaze.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was relatively easy for me during that stage. I can't say I can't complain, honestly, about that age range.
I could, but I won't. But I have busy babies, like, or they're not babies now, but my oldest, particularly, the one that was born early, my grandma came to town. She got to meet him and she was holding him. She said something to the tune of like, "Oh my goodness, you move so much." It's like, he never sits still. Like, he can't sit up. He can't roll over. This was like within his first, he was there for a month. So within his first 2 months of life, probably, maybe 3. And she used to tell me all the time, like, don't stand him up on your lap. His legs aren't strong enough. I was like, Grandma, I'm not standing him. I'm sitting him and he's like pushing and extending his legs. Like, so I understand like seeing them explore and learn. Yeah. That was nice. But
oh no.
The childproofing is the easy part. You just, you get the stuff you need. You childproof. Well,
if I'm honest,
I didn't childproof. You seen my house.
I didn't childproof.
It's locked down in here.
I don't think I've ever owned a baby gate. When we lived in California for a short amount of time, we lived in California for a short amount of time. We had, we lived in a 2-story house on base. And we just barricaded it with an ottoman and boxes. We didn't get like a gate or anything. we just did whatever was convenient in the house. I mean, we did have a couple of like the plug covers, but the house was not baby proof. It was like, hey, don't do that. And that was pretty much
Meanwhile,
it.
It's Fort Knox in here.
It is.
Gate to go here, to gate there.
Any hallway in this house or any room, there's a gate. Which I'm not mad at. It's good to have. I just did it.
I literally, out of force of habit, like when you take them out of the house, and I'm like, yes, I can leave all the gates open. That's an excitement for me. And I will still, out of force of habit, like walk through the gate and click it real fast and lock it.
Because there's somebody behind me.
But I'll literally go back and reopen it. Like, no, I don't have to live like this for like 2 hours.
I don't have to live this way.
Yeah, it was just the they. Like I said, from early, they were very busy. Not bad by any means, but very busy. So everything they could touch, everything that they could like pull down or open or whatever. So we got the baby gates and the big old play yard so that he could.
Never had that.
Yeah.
It was stay in the living room where I could see you. It was never.
And you saw my apartment. Yeah. So. And you saw, excuse me, that long, what is it like? I don't remember the measurement. It's a ridiculously long gate. Yeah. If we didn't have that up, he would be doing zoomies through the kitchen, the living room, the dining room. We had the glass table with the metal on the bottom, and every time a toddler came to visit, they would hit their head on the table, and I'm like, I can't take this. Like, I don't want anybody to get hurt. So, let's see. We finished with newborn phase and the into everything phase. You already mentioned testy twos was not that bad for your girls.
Mm-mm.
And question for any of our viewers about how your newborn phase was, your getting into everything phase, your testy twos, and three-nager phase. And I'm now in the 4-year-old question phase. Why? Why? But how? Which I've always said, because I was that child real bad, like, so I don't mind questions if they're inquisitive. Like, if you want to learn something, I think my mom said I asked her something like, how does the moon stay in the sky? And she was like, what? So if he asked me stuff like that, if I know, then I'm happy to answer him. If I don't, I'm like, we can learn something together.
Yeah.
So I do like that. But when they get you, it's like,
yeah,
before you realize that they've hooked you in to asking you all these why questions, I'm like, okay, that's enough. And I just have to cut it off.
See, for me, the why was more of like, why do I need to do this? Why do I need to do that? So it was never really like, oh, why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? It was, why do I need to clean up? Why do I need to eat this right now?
Too.
Why? And it's just like, because you need to grow. Well, I don't wanna. So why do I need to? And it's just like, well, don't do it then. I am totally okay with you just not eating. If you want to eat goldfish all day, by all means, eat the goldfish. This is just, don't die on me.
And pediatricians, I would think that they would disagree with that. 100% they would.
Oh, no. Our doctor told us, like, whatever they're willing to eat, just let them eat it.
Give it to them.
Yep.
If they want to eat tater tots 3 times, I'm like, really? Yeah, whatever they want to eat. If they're going to eat it, give it to them.
Exactly.
Because they might eat huge breakfast and then pick out lunch and not really eat it, and then eat a small dinner or huge dinner.
And my kids were grazers. They wouldn't sit for a full meal. They would graze throughout the day. So I always had snacks on hand. Always had snacks on hand.
Yeah. My oldest is definitely the grazer. He has his moments, his growth spurts.
Mm-hmm.
But my little one, he can eat.
The cutest thing ever. Potato baby.
I think that's it for my notes for this episode. So unless you have any questions, then we can end the episode here.
Oh, sounds good. Thanks for joining us, guys. It was fun.
Thank you.